Hello there. I am Mikey and I am from Lost Treasure Designs, and I'm going to be showing you how to assemble one of our kits. This is the Timeless Treasures kit, and there are several others that kind of have a similar design to this, kind of like a basket type folio. I'm going to go ahead and go through the papers of this kit to kind of show you ones that need to be printed on the back of designer paper. So page 1, page 2, and page 3 all should be printed on the back of a designer paper, and that's got the front, the back, the flap closure. These other pages are optional. Oh, no, page 5 will also need to be printed on the back because this is going to be a pocket. When you open it, you'll want to have color on the back of that one as well. The rest of them are optional, whether you want to add the designer pages to the back. It comes with lots of different beautiful pages that you can use to create whatever you like. So those are those pages, and these are the journal pages. I will go over the journal later. Right now we're going to put this kit together. So I've gone ahead and cut out most of my pieces here. Kind of move them off to the side. We're going to start with, this is our page 1, and I have already scored these. If you look at the print, it will show you the score lines, but there's a score line here and here that we will need to have. And then also on our back piece, the score line here and here. So what I'm going to do is attach these two together. I'm going to run, you'll see the back piece has an image here. This white strip is where we are going to attach some tape. And I'm going to attach tape today. Instead of, you could do tape or glue. Want to carefully line these up. So then we have our whole, we'll see how this is going to go together soon. Now we're going to add our top piece, which is this, and we want to add this to the back. So put this over. This is our back here, so we're going to run tape along this section. Most of the time the tape is pretty easy just to tear off, unless you're really picky, and you can use a sharp edge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attach this back piece on top. Then we have our back and our front, and then this will flip over like that. Should have pointed out you do have a score line here and here. Just pay attention to the pages and you should be okay. So that's how it's going to look when we're done, and we can close this up in lots of different ways. You can use ribbon and make kind of like a handle. It's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and we're going to start assembling the insides. So there should be this piece here, and this is actually going to be what is going to hold the journal. And we want this piece to be on this back. This is the, flip this over, this is the back. We want the journal to be held there, because obviously when this is flipped up, it's upside down. So we want stuff that's going to be down here to be able to close. So the journal, I just want to be able to tuck in here. So you'll see that this has fold lines here and here, here and here. And if you look at the printout, you'll see the fold lines fold, and then it should also tell you where the glue or adhesive, whatever you're gonna use, will go. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna put some tape. Actually, I'm gonna use glue. I'm gonna glue in here. I'm just gonna glue this first, the bottom part first. I'm just going to kind of eyeball where it's going to go. I'm kind of using this fold line, if you can see where I've folded that down. I'm matching it up with the fold of the back. And then I'm going to just press down that glue. There. Using glue always, it's a little messier, but I can move things around. So when I pull it up, I get a nice straight seam. I'm going to put these in. This is the tricky bit, and this part might actually serve better to use tape because it doesn't have a dry time, but I'm going to still use glue and see how it works. I'm going to take these, make sure that this is folded. This is where this tool can come in handy, so I'm going to use it to help me press down on these. Of course, because it's glue, we are all over the place. Alright, so that should give us our journal pocket. And if we close this up, it'll be nice and held inside of that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to this bottom pocket. You should find a piece Let me see what page this is on. As I've scrambled up all of my pages. You should find on page 5 these pockets. I've gone ahead and cut those out. And as I said before, you're going to want to print this on the back, because when we put this together, you're going to actually see that part when you lift it up. You could leave it white and add a little ink if you'd like. I like to have the extra color there. So I am looking for page 13. Way at the end. So page 13 is going to be this bottom pocket, and it has a closure up at the top so that things aren't going to spill out of it. So you'll see the fold lines on there as well. Move these off to the side. And I've gone ahead and already scored, folded, and then I went ahead and inked the sides as well. So this is going to go down here at the bottom, but I want to actually put this down before I put this down. So I'm just going to kind of actually going to use tape on this one. So I know where that's gonna go, so I'm just gonna bring it down just a little bit. And put this. Make sure it's straight. We'll put that there. Okay, and then these sides we can put down as well. You can use glue, you can use tape. Glue tape does seem to be a little faster. I think glue holds better. But if you get some super strong tape, you should be fine too. Nice. Those done. Now we're just gonna line this up. This tape is a little wide. Just gonna fold that over and tuck it back. Didn't do that on that side. Okay. Oh, if you would like, you could also punch a little notch in there. In fact, I might go ahead and do that. Just add a little bit of ink, and then I'm gonna go ahead and line this up underneath here. Alright, so that is our bottom pocket. we could add something here that will help close that in. We can do that here. Could have done it now, but do it here. So I'm gonna go ahead and these we're gonna score on all the score lines, and then we're gonna fold it in. These are going to glue down like this. Of course, we can cut that little notch, and then once we have this assembled, we can then glue this straight down to there above it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. This one, I'm gonna go back to using glue. I'm using glue on this one because I want to be able to move it around if I need to. Because sometimes you have to line up the edges just right. And this, I want to just trim off this little corner. Okay, and this right there. Let me do this other one real quick. That might not bother you, so you can leave it if you want, but that little piece was bothering me. Okay, alright, so now I'm just going to line this up. I've kind of got pocket, two pocket, journal pocket. This. Tell my art kids only glue, we hold down and count to 10. That always helps. So that it's a little more straight. Okay, so we've got the bottom, the top parts. We have our journal pocket here. The kit comes with lots and lots of other pockets. If you wanted to add more, you could, or you can use these inside your journal. For now, that's the basic assembly of this. So it'll fold up like that. I'm going to move this off to the side, and we're going to work on this jumbo tag. And the jumbo tag, you'll want this main piece, and you'll want to print this on designer paper. Let me see what the jumbo tag is on page 9 on this page, and then your pieces to go on it are on page 10, and they say jumbo tag pocket on those so that you know what they go to. So I'll put this back here. This is your front or back. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to attach this larger one. I've gone ahead and scored and I've inked around. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue on these little bits. Obviously, you do not have to print on the back. When I go ahead and print, a lot of times I just waste my ink and print on all of them. You do not need to do that. There's that. You could play with it, you know, differently. You could have this as your one piece, and you could put this over on that side. I kind of like to see that old-timey register. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one on that side. Have a jumbo tag. Why am I think when I cut that, I must have cut off a little bit of that. So I'm just going to add a tiny dot of glue to help hold that down. So now you've got this jumbo tag, and you can add, you know, all sorts of different things. Stick it inside your journal. And that is a fun little thing there. Other parts of the kit, you've got envelopes. You're going to score this one, which I have not done. I do not see my scoring blade, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold it over. Add some glue or tape. I'm going to go ahead and tape this one. Oh, I about did that wrong. There we go. So now you got this little pocket you can use to put different things in. This is another envelope that we have. Score along the edge of this rectangle. I'm just going to go ahead and fold, which you can always do by just line scoring, makes it a little easier. I'm going to go ahead and continue adding stuff to this so you can see the finished product. I think I'm going to add just a few things here and there to make it look pretty, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so now we're going to put together the journal portion of this kit. What I have done is I've taken the full pages of the journals and I've just grouped them together in groups of 3 or 4. I think I've got 2 with 4 and then 1 with 3. And then I have just folded them over and then creased them down using the bone fold tool. So you can kind of see how they're put together. And these are what are called a signature. And I've gone ahead and made, this is completely different than what I've normally done before. But I like trying new things and seeing how they work. This is going to be more like a hardback style journal, a little bit thicker, not as hard as a hardback book, but it'll still be kind of fun to do. So I have cut this. Of course, it is a lot shorter. You can see here's the fold here, and I've made it shorter on purpose because then we're going to wrap it in this and then put a paper here to cover that, kind of like you see in a hardback book. So I've cut these to the length of the journal pages. Mine turned out to be 7 7/8 of an inch, depending on how big you print out, or your paper prints on your printer might be a little bit different. What I did do though is my space here, my spine, is 1 centimeter wide, and then I've got 9 centimeters on each side from that spine. If you wanted to cut your piece, measure 9 centimeters over, then 1 centimeter, and then another 9, that's where you would put your fold. And then I did a mark here. This line, and this line are the marks where I'm going to be poking some holes to sew this, the signatures to this. So this one was 1 inch, and then this turned out to be 2 3/4 inch, so that I had this in the center, and then this was 1 inch, just so that they were evenly distributed. Although once it's in the spine, you won't even see it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, this is just a piece of foam that came with, I don't even know what it came with. I collect really dense pieces of foam. This is the needle we'll use a little bit later. This is, I can't remember what this is called, a pokey tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this signature to the center page, and this is my center fold right here. You could mark this, which is totally fine as well. I'm going to try to eyeball it. And like I said, if it isn't perfect, it's okay. You could just take your ruler here, and we know that is 1 inch down. I've kind of got a line right where my center is. I'm going to punch that down, and it's going to go through all those papers. I'm going to flip this around because I know that my ends are 1 inch. Then I'm going to eyeball this center one. I'm just going to kind of lay it on here. And just punched it through. You can use this, of course, to punch through, or you could see how I just pushed it through. Okay, so I've got 3 holes there. I'm going to do the same thing with these ones. Whew, that was off. And that was off, but that's okay. Like I said, you won't even see it. It's kind of hard to tell where I'm going through. And this one. Being tricky. Okay, so I've got those holes all punched. I'll go ahead and start with this one. And of course, now that I've made these marks, so my first one, I want as close to this fold as I can without going onto the fold. Punch hole, and punch hole. So this is some bookbinding thread. It's actually, it could be thinner. I think it's a little on the thick side, but what I do like about it is that it's waxed. It just helps it kind of go through a lot easier. Then this is, you can buy bookbinding kits. This is just a really big needle, but that's going to help me so that I can go through the paper pretty easy. So I just went ahead, threaded it through. I cut my string down so it's actually double. This is going to make it nice and strong. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come here and I'm going to start from the back of this. I'm going to go in that hole. Open up the signature. Go up through the hole that I made. And pull that through. And I'm going to pull it through, but I don't want all of this to go through yet. So I'm just going to leave some of this hanging out here for a second. While I'm doing that, I'm going to come and find my center. Pulling that tight. I kind of like the look of seeing the strings. And you know what? I meant to do this on the center part. Okay, let's try that again. I'm gonna pull it through. I want to go through the middle first. My papers are all coming apart. You can use paper clips, would come in handy for this part. What? I moved this. Completely moved it when okay. When I moved it around, I moved it around. Kind of turned it upside down. Okay. I'm going to pull that through, making sure there's some hanging off on the other end. And pull this tight. Now here is where I want to go through this part here. And that's why I needed to start in the middle. Pull that tight without pulling your other thing through. I'm going to go through this side. And I'm going to come back up here and you'll see that we have these nice strings that we can just tighten. And then I'm going to form a knot. This wax it like helps it to hold together to the knot, which I really like. And I'm going to do just another double knot here. And slip all these. I might want, so that I don't have like a whole bunch of bulk right here, I might try to move those, distribute it around so that the knot isn't always in the same spot. But you can see how that holds that in really nice. And we still have room to put our other two signatures that we have. So I'm going to go grab these. I'm going to grab some more string. It was about I think I had about a foot on each end, so 2 feet of string. If you don't want to waste your string, you can measure it out. I just kind of eyeball it. So I'm going to go ahead, go into my, wrong way. I'm going to start in the middle here because I want this to go off on the side. Let me see where this is going. Make sure your signatures are all facing the same direction as well. That's always helpful. I always have to double check to make sure this is actually getting picked up in the camera because I'm not looking through the camera. Where is my, oh, there it is. Well, I should mention this cardstock that I'm using to bind this to is pretty good. I think it's 110 gram cardstock. It's a little thicker than normal. And then the paper that I printed on is, I like to use a 30-pound cover. And oh, what the heck I just did. Oh, I just went through the string. That's okay. You can see I've wasted quite a bit, so I went a little bit longer than a foot. Those are offset a little bit that it won't. I think it'll be okay. It's not going to create too much bulk on that. So I'm going to grab my last signature, get that sewn in. You can kind of see where this, the needle came through just on the inside of that fold. That way it can still fold without being in the fold. Start watching that. And go down into this one. That's nice and tight. I'm going to go back up through the center. And then wherever my hole is. Just trying to make that as tight as I can go without tearing the paper. And all of those ended up right next to each other, so it might be a little bit bulky, but we'll see. You see those old book spines that always have those little things there. Okay, so we have our signatures all in. And kind of flip through it. You can come in through and you can still see some of those lines. You can come and erase them. Or I'll show you what else we can do. You can always grab some of the different things that we have in the kit and you can glue those in so that you have a pocket, and it also helps to hide the gaps inside those. Of course, you can always try to put your stitches a little closer together than I did. Okay, so now we've got that, and we have, this is our cover, well, this is the cover that we're going to be putting things to, so the inside of our cover. So I measured this, I just took the measurement from the corner here over, and that was 5 1/4. Like I said, it might depend on how wide your printer printed your paper. And then this, I just made just under a 1/2 inch. I want it barely just a tiny bit bigger, and you can kind of see how this one just nests inside that one. I want to be able to wrap it around. So I'm going to use a lot of glue. You can get bookbinding glue. This is just some nice craft glue. I feel that it works just fine. So I'm going to put a really nice bit of glue down there. I also want to glue this section. Make sure that's lined up so that the fold lines are going inside each other. You can kind of see how the fold lines are just kind of nesting in there. I'm going to take this, spread out some of that glue, and then while that's down, I'm going to flip this way, and I'm going to add some glue to this side. Don't worry if you, like I have all my little marked lines, you won't see them. We're going to cover them up. Or you could erase them. Okay, everything seems in there good. I'm just going to grab hold of your signatures, because they're kind of your center here. And pull them up, and then just wrap that. If you scored your lines, it should fold pretty easy together. Now I'm going to come in here and use this to really push those signature pages down into the spine. Sorry, I have to pull things away from the camera so I can put it closer to my face. This just doesn't feel like it's quite lining up, so I gotta move things around a little bit, but that is why I like to work with glue. Because it takes a little bit for it to dry, which is a good thing. Just pinching my ends here to make sure that everything is looking good. Alright, so that is all done. We're going to let that dry. If you would like, you can always grab one of these big binder clips, and that will just help to hold all of that in place while those two pages stick together. So while that's drying, I just went ahead and printed these two. These come in the kit just to help me create a fun cover to go over this. And this is just printed on 30 pound, or maybe it's 32 pound cover stock. And what I want to do is measure these out so that I can make sure that it's gonna wrap around this. And then this paper I'm going to use for the inside to cover those two seams that I had in there. So let's measure. Yours might be a little different than mine. So this is going to be 5 1/4 from there to there. And it looks like we're just under, I would probably say 7 3/4. That is a better 7 there along here. And of course we know that's just This is about a centimeter. Okay. So I'm gonna measure this out. What I'm gonna trim this off first. So my length, flip this over, we want 7 3/4. If you want to leave just a little bit on the end, you can. Maybe put a little bit of ink on it. Double check how that looks. So this just gives me a tiny bit of an edge there, which I'm okay with that because I kind of like seeing the layers. When I do the inside, I want to make sure that that goes right up against it. In fact, we could wrap it really nice, like a present, before we put this on him. Maybe we'll do that, just so that it looks a little more on the professional side. So I'm going to measure our 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Then I'm going to measure our 1. And then from there, go back to my center line, and I don't know if I'm gonna have enough. We'll see. We're just gonna go ahead and trim this off right on the white, and we'll just put it where it goes. Okay, so there's that piece. I can go ahead and add a little bit of ink to the edge so I don't have this white edge of the paper showing. Thinner papers are always a little harder to do. Okay, put that away. I'm gonna trim this, just the white off while you know what, I'm not even gonna trim the white off. So I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. I think I do want to cut this in half at least though. Oh, you can fold it in half, or just, this is printed on 8 1/2 by 11, so you can just cut it on 5 1/2. So those will be my insides. This is probably to the point where we can work with it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. I'm gonna grab this piece because it doesn't have the white. I'm gonna put this right up against underneath that. We can do this in different ways. We can, I'm gonna run some tape along this. Glue does have a tendency to warp the paper a little bit. And since we just added all that glue, I'm gonna go ahead and use some tape. I'm just going to go right up. And you kind of see how I'm just kind of trying to evenly distribute this paper on the ends. We're going to fold that over in just a second. So I'm going to go right up against the edge. And that'll give us a nice cover for that, so that when you open it, it looks pretty nice. And glue stick. This is a heavy-duty craft glue stick. A little bit stronger than your grade school variety. This will just help me to put some glue on there without it being super wet. Smooth that down, get all of our bubbles out. And that covers that really nicely. In fact, I can't even tell. I can if I rub my finger along there that it's got that extra piece. But what I'm going to do now, we barely give ourselves just a little bit over there, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is grab my scissors, and I just want to snip off the end there, kind of on a diagonal. And I'm just going to kind of ease this over. If you like wrapping presents, then you should like doing this. This is like barely going over the edge. And it's probably going to show some of that white, but we've got ink for that. Hindsight, I could have cut a better or a bigger piece and it would have probably been better, but too late now. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just use this glue, and I'm going to run the edge along that edge, pull it over. I'm just using the back of my finger instead of the bone knife because I feel like I have more control that way. Let's put this one down. Just make sure that you put a little pressure on there. So I've got that side, you can kind of see there's a white line here. We'll take care of that in a minute. I'm going to flip this over to the back end. And we'll do the same thing, attaching this here. Making a mess. I always have a hard time pulling the back off tape. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue down now. Table's getting a little sticky. Alright. little bit better on this one. And some glue. Okay. So now I've got that. That one actually did a lot better. I'm still going to add some ink here to the side just to stress it up a little bit, especially since we have an antique store as our theme. Make it look a little more antique, and it will help hide this white that we have here on the edge. I'm doing this side too because you're probably going to see that. Go all the way around. My table is already dirty, but we'll save it just a little bit. Is he done? Yes, I'll be done. Okay, so now we're going to add this cover, and it's just going to wrap all the way around. And if not, we will work with it. I'm gonna go ahead and add some glue to this here. My front is what I'm most concerned about looking nice. Although we want it to look nice on the back too. Can always add something else to the back. I really want to line this up so that I have an even amount on top and on the edge so that it all looks uniform. And I like how that looks, how it covers up that paper, and it just looks seamless, which I really like. This over. like it because it's nice and sturdy. It's still thin, still fun to work with, and you can dress it up however you want. You know, we could add some lace if we want to do a tie going around. We have all of these fun pockets that came with the kit that we can distribute throughout the journal. It's really up to you however you want to create this and turn it into something really nice for you. You can always use these cards, you know, layer it up. The kit comes with so many cool things that you could just lay out, make a collage with. We'll do one final and go back to our folio here that we made. So we got our bottom pockets, put stuff in there. I think I'm going to just add some Velcro things to hold those down. And then we have our pocket to hold our journal. And this can just go straight in there, holds it nice. Close that up. Of course, gotta add a closure here. I think I'm gonna just maybe do a ribbon and tie it. But that holds really nice. It's not going anywhere. So that is our Timeless Treasures Antique Shop kit. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. If you want this kit, I'll put the link in the comments or in the show notes. Thank you very much.